Hello, this is Charlie, and I'm going to be training my rats for my land-based project at college. So this is Midge and Moose. This one here is Moose, and this one is Midge. I'll just give them this so they can sit there nice and still for a minute. And my aims for my project were to find out whether clicker training or just sort of straight training with just treats would be better for the rat. Midge was one who I clicker trained, or at least try to, and Moose was straight trained. So as this video is done at the end of my project, where they've both been trained, they do already know the spin at this point in time. However, I will try and recreate the sort of journey that we went through to get to them actually knowing what to do with the spin. Unfortunately, the clicker training for Midge was just very unsuccessful. She pays no attention to clicker whatsoever and just focuses in on the food, so that was probably I didn't really get a result, I suppose, to my project as to which method is better. I mean, I suppose I did, because alright. For my own experience, it would be straight treat training is a lot more better, as Moose has shown me. Moose is very good now. She's come down. She will do. No, yeah, silly. If I have something that she wants, she will normally do a spin. No, she can grab hold of it. Do a spin. Oh, see, Midge did one then. But yeah, so normally now, if I just hold up a treat that they want, they will do a spin, because they know that if they do that action, then they will be treated for it. So to start my project to begin with, I got Midge out by herself. She's out now, but she was out at the time when I first started training Midge, because I was trying to get her used to the clicker. And the way that I would do that was I would sort of just hold it out, and if she went over and sort of sniffed it, I would click it, and then I would give her a treat for it, just so I could kind of get her used to the click, meaning it's a good thing, you'll get a treat if you hear this click. So I've probably done the click method for about 2 sessions where I just had Midge by herself, 2 10-minute sessions where I just tried to get her used to hearing the sound, and I wasn't really getting any results from it, I suppose, because normally you'd think, oh, if I click it now, she'll come running for a treat, but as you can see, there's no Midge. I don't think this was very successful at all with the clicker. And even though it seemed unsuccessful at the time, I just decided that it would probably be best to carry on and try to get them to do some training, because otherwise I will run out of time from my plan, because I had already lost quite a bit of time according to my plan, because it was over the Christmas period, so I did not have time to do any training with them then, just because of all Christmassy stuff going on. So after I decided that Midge has had enough time doing just clicker training, I decided that I would start with the both of them, just getting them to follow my hand with the treat in it, just back and forth in lines, and then obviously clicking whenever Midge would have it, but then not when Moose is. Just so they could get used to following my hand and getting used to doing something for a treat, for a reward. So I probably done this method for the first week, also introducing sort of large circles to get them used to like turning. I tried to do this every day for the first couple of weeks, just to get them used to, having to move. Oh, see, she's just done that now. I didn't even have anything. Just to get them used to the moving and activity that they're supposed to be doing. I done 10 to 15-minute sessions with them, as much as I could, really. Not like I tried to do it at least once or twice a week, but obviously there was college, and then there was college assignments and other responsibilities I had that didn't let me sort of give them all the time that they needed to be trained every day. So it was at least twice a week, but yeah. So after the first 1 to 2 weeks, I introduced the spin to them. So I would get them to walk around in a circle like this, just following the treat. So they're both fighting over it. Hey, look, there's two. Wait. Just getting them to, you know, follow around. And if they didn't do a spin, then I would, if they sort of went halfway, I would just stop, take the treat away, and then start again to get them to understand that they have to do the full spin in order to get the treat. But obviously it was a little bit harder at first because they didn't know what they were doing. They were just sort of following this food around thinking, yeah, free food. So I'm gonna try and show. Get off. Spin. Yeah. So after the first week of sort of slowly introducing it to them, to the end of week 2, and then for the rest of it really, it was just me focusing on them, trying to get them to do a spin. The spin, yeah. Yeah, so after they sort of got the hang of what they had to do, obviously they were still needed a little bit of help because they're still a little bit unsure, but after they understood what they were supposed to be doing, I'd only done a couple of minutes a day really, because 10 minutes just seemed like a long time to be spending on them. So I was just sort of doing it in smaller times but more frequently throughout the day. So I'd get them out maybe in the morning, do a couple of spins with them, and then again in the evening, just to get them used to spinning. So I think on paper the last day of the training was the 3rd of March. However, I have still been doing it daily really now with them, just to try and improve it. After the 3rd, when I had written down that that was the end of my project, I did stop using the clicker with them, just because I could see that it wasn't working and there was no real point in using it anymore, because Midge clearly doesn't understand the use of it, or either I didn't spend enough time at the start of the project doing it, or if she's just not as intelligent rat as others, because I know it can vary quite a lot, whereas Moose is very intelligent. Midge is quite, she takes a little bit more time to understand things, and she's very dramatic. Bless her. But yeah, so I decided that after the 3rd, once I'd had written down that that's when my project officially ended, I suppose, that I got rid of the clicker and just started training her using just treats like Moose. I think that if I spent a little more time with them working with the clicker, then it might have been more of a successful result. Or maybe even if I tried to use it with Moose instead, just because she seems a little bit more intelligent than Midge does. But yeah, so maybe I'll save that if I'm going to try to train them to do something else. Perhaps it would work a lot better if it's a more complicated trick that you're trying to train them to do. So maybe trying to get them to jump for a hoop or put a ball for a hoop or something. It might work better with that, because it's more of a complicated thing to train them, rather than just to train them to do a simple spin. It's a little bit easier to. So even though I didn't get a proper result as to which method of training was better, clicker training or straight treat training, I still think it was a successful project, I suppose. I still managed to train the rats. They both now will do a spin, and I mean, from my results and my experience, I found out that straight treat training was more successful than clicker, but I think I just needed to spend a little bit more time trying to get her used to the clicker rather than not very long. Please. She's going to do the spin. No. Yeah, so they can both now do a spin, and I will continue to try and train them to do other things. But as for my question for my project, it wasn't really answered, but it was still fun to do, and there's still a lot to talk about as to why maybe I didn't get a result and what I could do to improve next time. Yeah. Yay!